today to be joined by Ian and Andrea. Ian Young, you may have seen his session quite near the beginning of lockdown. It's quite a while ago now, his first live class for us. So hi both of you, how are you doing?
Oh, great, thank you. Good to see you again.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Good, yeah, good to see you both. So Ian is a Somatics Movement Coach and also runs the NASS Harrogate branch as well. So today we're going to have a live somatic session, and I think Ian, you said you're going to focus a little bit more on the neck and shoulders today, was it?
Yeah, that's right. I thought it's an area that a lot of people with AS suffer from, and it really sits there a lot of the time. So anything we can do to help in that area is good.
Absolutely, that'd be lovely. I'm sure we'll gradually work our way down the body at some point.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've got more. I've got plenty more.
Wonderful. So for anyone who's watching, as always, the session will stay on the page afterwards on our Facebook page, and we'll also pop it onto our webpage, My AS My Life. So if you've not tried Somatics before and you want to just watch the session first and then try it out later, you're welcome to. And you can also check with your doctor or your physio before trying it if you're unsure that it's suitable for you. So I'll just check the comments as they're coming in and see who we've got joining us today. Wonderful, we've got quite a few people joining us already. Hi to Liz. Hi to Tessa, my mum there. Also, she's going to have a session today. Wonderful. So I think if we're all ready to go, I'll hand over to you guys if you're happy.
Great. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Over to you.
Okay, so welcome to the session, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of a brief introduction to somatics because it's a movement form that isn't really as well known as other things like Pilates and yoga, but it's just as effective. And I just wanted to explain how I feel it really helps people with AS. So we both have AS, we're both from the Harrogate branch, and we found it incredibly helpful. And the way I believe it works is if you have pain in your joints, then what tends to happen is all the muscles around that joint tighten to prevent the pain, which is the body's natural way of coping. And it thinks it's doing the right thing and it thinks it's being helpful. And I must admit, when I learned about somatics, which is all about releasing the muscles and helping you to move and flow much better, I was concerned that maybe if I did release all the muscles that had tightened to prevent the pain, then the pain would get worse. But actually, I found it was the opposite. And if you actually can release those tight muscles, it actually helps the joint move better, and it actually feels less painful. If you agree with that.
I agree with that totally, yeah.
So that's why I say that, whilst somatics can't actually help change the course of the disease, it can really help for change how you feel. And we've both been doing somatics for years, and we've really changed how we can move, how we feel in our bodies. It's a wonderful thing. So that's why I'm very passionate about sharing it. So we're going to focus on neck and shoulders today, but we always in somatics we always deal with whole body patterns as well, because we believe that there's these reflexes that get triggered in the body that are very strong and quite often come from the center of the body. So we will do some releasing in the center, which will also improve. And I was teaching a class this morning, and people were releasing something at the bottom of their foot, and it helped a neck and a shoulder. So, the body is connected all the way up. So things we do in one part helps the other part. So the other thing that's really important with somatics is your awareness of your body. So we always do a lot of noticing. So we don't just sort of take the painkillers and grunt through the exercises. It's much more about noticing, oh, maybe I'm holding there. I wonder if I could soften there. What can I release there? And really tuning into our body and getting much more aware of our habits and our postures, and just doing the somatic movements alone helps to enhance this awareness, but we will also be noticing as we go through. So we always start a somatics class, and we're going to start today in the same way by noticing where we're at. So we're going to start in standing. If that's uncomfortable for you, that the starting parts can be done in sitting as well. So just wherever you're most comfortable. But we're going to stand to start, and we're just going to let the body be, just kind of let the arms dangle, and just notice where we're at today. Just feel into where there are areas of holding and tension in the body. So just seeing what's true for you today. And it's interesting to notice where are those tight spots. And often, you know, we do hold tension in the shoulders here, between the shoulder blades, in the lower back. All those areas tend to be places we hold tension. And then just noticing how the weight is in the feet can also give you some clues as to what's going on in the body. So whether you're more at the front or the back of the foot, and whether you've got more weight in one foot than the other. And then because we're doing neck and shoulders area, let's just turn the head side to side and just see how it's feeling today, and notice maybe it's easier to turn one side than the other. And just bringing ear to shoulder on each side. And again, you might feel it's quite a different experience, one side compared to the other. And then gently just looking up slightly and down. So you're just getting a sense. So you're creating like a baseline of, oh, this is how I feel before I've done the somatic movement. Let's notice how it is now. And then we can notice if it changes during the course of the movements. And then that becomes a reward mechanism to want to do more. So first thing we're going to start with is actually just actually tapping around the whole area. So you can either just use a hand, a fist, whatever feels right, just to tap around the shoulders. And what we're doing is we're just waking up all of the nerve endings around, and just it's another part of building the awareness. So the more you tap across the collarbones onto the sternum, the more you tap the body, the more your nervous system wakes up and becomes aware of what's going on for you. And just light tapping fingers up the back of the neck and the sides of the neck, back of the head. So you might just feel a little bit more alive and tingly in those areas. It just brings those areas a bit more present into the brain. Somatics is very much about bringing those habits that we don't really think about anymore into our voluntary cortex, where we think about what we're doing and where we move. We can't do that all day, every day, so a lot of it those bad habits go into the primitive brain, and they govern how we move. So we're trying to repattern that whole experience. And yes, you will find, thanks for that question, you will find that there are clicking noises, and that's because the ears are very close to the neck, if you think about it. So you will hear, and that's just like the little tendons and things in the neck just readjusting to the movement. So yeah, all of us will experience that feelings and hearing the clicking sounds. Okay, so we're going to start with a release for the side of the neck. And all we're going to do to start with is just bring this right shoulder up towards your neck, and you can tilt the ear onto the neck. So you're almost sort of squeezing into the side of the neck. And then once you've got that contraction in the side of the neck, we're going to very slowly lower that arm down and lift the head up. And then once the head is up and the arm is down, letting go, let the arm dangle, have a pause. And we'll repeat. So what we're doing is what we call in somatics a pandiculation. So when we have a tight muscle, like in the side of the neck here, we're going to contract into it. And then we do this slow yawning release out of it. And the neuroscience says that that helps the muscle let go more. Lengthening. And then that pause to notice, how did it feel before, how did it feel after? And then again repeat. Squeeze into the side of the neck, and you can roll the shoulder forward a little bit if you need to get into the side of the neck, and then slowly lowering down, lifting the head. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Sometimes you have to kind of do that kind of keep going, because you don't even realize you're holding the tension there. And then hopefully you can see it. We can see her looking at the camera here that both of us have got the shoulder that's really dropped on that side. And hopefully you've had that experience as well. And another little test you can do, if you bring your arms straight out in front of you, literally straight out in front, looks like your arm is, wow. Looks like your arm is suddenly longer. But all you've done is you've just released all these tight muscles on the side of the neck. And you know, they've got a lot of work to do to carry this heavy head around. So let's see if we can get the shoulders to drop on the other side. So let's just bring the shoulder up on that side, tilt the ear onto it, and don't be surprised if it feels a bit different. It always feels different on this side. You know, we all tend to have one-sided issues with our AS. And then slowly letting that shoulder come down. And you might rotate the palm to face towards the front this time. Let the head come up. And then repeat, squeezing up, seeing if you can get the side of your neck onto the shoulder. Coming up again. Keep going, keep going, keep going with the arm. There's probably more release there than you realize. I'll do one more. Squeeze. And slowly yawning, relaxing, lengthening of the muscle. That helps it let go. And then we can do our little test again and just see, hopefully your arms feel a little bit more like they're the same length again now. Okay, so we're going to do another set of releases for the neck again, and you might want to take glasses off for this one. So we're going to start with the palm on the forehead, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to press the head into the hand, and you'll feel a contraction up the back of the neck. And then again, it's about that slow release as you bring the head back off the hand. Press the forehead into the hand again. And then slowly release the contraction. And then we can move the hand to the side of the head. And we're not wanting to tilt the head, we're wanting to bring the head sideways into the hand this time. So just pressing the head lightly into the hand, getting the contraction, and you might feel it on the same side or you might feel it on the opposite side of the neck, and then slowly release. Squeeze into the hand again, and release. And then let's bring the hand to the other side, press the head into the hand, get the engagement, feel the contraction. So it's always useful to feel where your muscles are engaging. Release. And once again, press the head into the hand. And release. And then perhaps the most important one, which is why I leave it to last, hand behind the head, and you may have done this one in physio exercises, pressing the head backwards so you're keeping the chin nice and level, you're retracting the chin, you're not tilting the chin up or down, keeping it level and coming into the hand. And then for this one, it's nice just to take the hand away, and that keeps the head back. A lot of us have head forward posture where the head is slightly too far forward, and that causes all sorts of issues around the neck and shoulders. Let's do it again. So pressing the head back into the hand, and then very slowly taking the hand away, leaving the head there. So that one's called north, south, east, west, because we're doing all the sides of the head, releasing the neck all the way around. So just having a little feel, did that help a little bit? And then there's a couple of others that we can do. So if you turn your head all the way to the right, that might be as far as your head wants to go at this point. And then you're going to put the hand against the cheek. And it's slightly counterintuitive, this one, because you're going to turn the head towards the hand. And you'll probably feel how the muscles in the back and side of the neck engage. And then you're going to release off. And as you turn your head, you might notice you can turn further. Let's just do that once more. Turning the head into the hand, getting the engagement, and then turning away. Yeah, I definitely feel like I can turn further to the side after that. Let's go the other way. So turn the head all the way to the other side, as far as you can to start with, and turn into the hand. Get the engagement, and then slowly and softly turn. And you might feel you can go further. And again, turning the head into the hand, and then softly releasing. And hopefully you feel you can see a little bit further round. Turn a little bit more towards the shoulder. Okay, so let's do another one. So this one we're going to bring the hand over to the opposite temple. And then we're going to turn towards the elbow that we've got up. And then we're just going to lift the head up towards the ceiling. And then down towards the floor. So having this elbow and arm here, it just helps the whole of the shoulder unit to move. As one. Then you might just start to feel you can get a little bit more lift and lower. You might feel it between the shoulder blades. Yeah. Was that working?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it feels good.
So let's do the other side. So hand over again, turn all the way towards that elbow, and then start to lift up. And again, just go slow to start with. You might feel stiff on this side. Just the contrast with how it starts to release. So this one we're feeling particularly those muscles down the back of the body into the shoulder blades, between the shoulder blades. And it's something to do with the arm having an engagement with the whole shoulder girdle, creates this movement, releases a lot more into the back than if you were just lifting your head on its own. So just feeling whether you can start to feel that release coming from between the shoulder blades, particularly is where I'm noticing it for this one. Oh, and then drop. And if you find you get tension anywhere, you can always tap. So that's the rotation of the head. Now we're going to focus on the tilting of the head. So let's tilt the left ear towards the left shoulder. And again, we're going to use this just light overpressure. And again, it's slightly counterintuitive. We're going to move towards the hand, but that's because that's how you get the contraction. You'll feel how if you lift your head towards that hand, you get the engagement, particularly on the muscles of this side of the neck. And then just let that go with the hand and just see if you can let the ear come down a little bit more. Doing it once more up into the hand. And then easing it off, seeing again if you can come down more towards the shoulder. And it's always interesting when you've just done one side. I can feel like that this whole side here feels a little bit more released compared to the other side. I've just seen that question about someone saying they really struggle with these movements. We will be doing some whole body movements where we're releasing from the center in a little while as well. So let's come the other way. So tilting the ear towards the shoulder again and pressing the head up into the hand. And then letting the pressing go and just seeing if you can therefore release these muscles, these tight muscles, to allow you to come down a little bit further. Press up into the hand. And then slowly lower. Let's do one more. Pressing the head into the hand. And then slowly seeing if you can get a little bit more movement. So hopefully you're feeling like we're releasing quite nicely around the neck. Yeah, just looking at my notes. So lots of different things you can do for the neck there. Hopefully that's started to help you to release. One of the main muscles where we hold a lot of our tension is these big muscles here, where we feel like we have the weight of the world on our shoulders. And recently it's been discovered that neuroscientifically this muscle is actually attached to the part of the brain where we process emotion. So it makes sense why we feel it there. So this one, you're just going to need to have space to swing this arm without hitting anything. And what we do is we bring the opposite hand into and just have a sort of feel around, feel where the tension is. And once you've found an area that feels a bit tight, so for me that's there, you have the little squeeze with your fingers. And then what you do is you bounce your knees, which causes this arm to swing. And every time the arm comes through, you give it a little squeeze. And you're basically using this momentum to squeeze and release this tight muscle. And you want your eyes to be following the hand, so the whole of your upper half is moving. And if you feel it releasing under these fingers, you might want to move it around. It's quite a large muscle. It's called a trapezius because it's a trapeze-shaped muscle. So feel free to keep moving the squeeze around. And then let that go. You might want to just shake the hands if that was hard work on the hands there. And again, just notice how the two sides feel. So it's always really useful when you've done a one-sided movement just to let the brain play over. Oh, right, okay. So I thought those muscles were relaxed, but this is what they really feel like when they're relaxed. Maybe I don't have to put that slight lift in that we have a temptation. A lot of people tend to have their shoulders up near their ears, all the stress and all the different things that happen to cause that to happen. So just letting it be, even things like brushing and stroking different muscles can really help to relax as well. So hopefully that side is feeling quite different to the other side, and you might be able to now feel this feels kind of a bit solid and lifted and clenched. So generally, what we say in the neuroscience is a lot of people are holding like 30 to 40% tension in the muscles. You think it's relaxed, but it's got that much tension in. So we can do lots to improve and help how we feel. Let's do the other side. So feel into this big chunky muscle at the top here. Find where your point of tension is, and it might be very different. It might be a lot higher up on this side or lower down. And once you found it, bounce the knees, swing the arm, follow the hand with the eyes. So the whole of the top half of your body is moving. And that's that momentum, that swinging through, that gives you an extra squeeze. Seeing as if you can let the arm dangle as much as possible. And you can move the squeeze around on this side as well. And then let it go. And again, if you need to shake that hand out, do shake that hand out. And just come and stand. Notice how you feel now around the neck and shoulder areas. So you might feel like they've dropped away from your ears a little bit. The arms are dangling a bit more freely at your sides. And maybe the shoulders feel a little bit differently organized now. So lots of things you can do there, and a lot of those you can do if you're sitting at a desk or you're spending a lot of time over a computer or anything like that. There's some things that you can do quite regularly. But now we're going to come down onto the mat, and as is typical with somatics, we don't tend to do a lot of demonstrating because it's a first-person experience. We want you to go inside and do the movements how your body wants to. So Andrea is going to demonstrate while I guide her. So let's set up. Lovely. So the first thing we do, as ever, is we notice how we're feeling. So when you lie on a flat surface like this, you have a bit of feedback down the back of your body, and you can just notice how you're lying. So particularly as we're focusing on neck and shoulders today, just notice, how does it feel? Do you feel like your neck is lengthened, or do you feel like there's some tightness at the back of the neck that causes the chin to jut up towards the ceiling? Someone's saying, what's the best time of day to do these exercises? Personally, for me, I always find first thing in the morning. I know that people can be tighter in the morning, but if you do them regularly, I think you will find that things will help if you're doing it regularly. If you're really, really stiff first thing in the morning, you might want to have your shower first and give it a little while, take some painkillers. Okay, so just noticing where the weight is in the back of the head as we start on the mat. And notice how the shoulders feel. Are the shoulders rounded forward? Are they actually resting on the mat? And what are the shoulder blades doing? So a lot of people, when they first do Pilates and somatics, they're not so aware of what their shoulder blades do. So it's a really useful art to tune into. If you can really sense where your shoulder blades are, then you might just discover that they're not really moving very much. So if you can, see if you can get a sense of how they're lying. And that might just be, you might just have to jiggle the body around a little bit just to get that sense of where they are and whether they're the same on both sides. So are they lying flat and relaxed, or is one or other of them digging in? Do you get a sense that one of them's winging? And normally in a somatics class, we'd scan down the whole of the body and notice what the contact's like down the back of the ribs, how the curve is in the back of the back, what the weight is like in the pelvis, the calves and the heels. Just getting a real sense of what's going on in the two halves of our body. Oh, that's great to hear, Pam, that the neck exercise have really helped. Great stuff. Okay, so we're just going to start with bending the knees up towards you so that the feet are flat on the floor. And we're going to just focus on breathing for a moment. So we tend to breathe in through the nose, the organ that's designed for breathing, and then sighing out through a nice relaxed open throat. And we talk about a whispered R. So like when you're at the dentist and you make the R sound, but you don't need to make the sound, so it's just like a... And you can lengthen the breathing. That encourages the stale air to go out. So if you lengthen the out breath, normally the in breath takes care of itself. Oh, Ronnie, that's good to hear as well. Really helpful. Excellent. And so one of the things that the lengthening and slowing the breathing and just kind of tuning into the breathing helps with is a lot of the reflexes that we experience in our body, the tightenings, the holdings that we get are caused by day-to-day stress and the fight or flight response. So by slowing everything down and tuning into our breathing, we're tuning into what's called the parasympathetic, which is the opposite to the fight or flight. It's the really relaxed, calm, meditative space. So I sometimes say that somatics is rather like a moving meditation. So you're looking to get into that space where the body is just doing easeful movement. And I always think that's a wonderful space to be in if you've got AS, because it's not our natural state. So finding space where you can enjoy relaxation and movement in your body is a wonderful thing, I think. So as we're doing this breathing now, we're going to start to focus on what's happening in the center of our body. So as you breathe in, arching the back away from the mat and rolling the pelvis forward so the tailbone comes down between your legs. And then as you sigh out, floating the back down towards the mat and the tailbone lifts and the pelvis rolls towards you. And again, if you're not familiar with a lot of the movement practices, you may not have a great sense of your pelvis and its movement. And certainly when I started doing Pilates and somatics 10 or 11 years ago, I really wasn't very aware of what my pelvis was, and it certainly didn't really move, and I thought it was all fused. But if you do this practice regularly, you will actually find there's a lot more movement in the pelvis than you thought. And notice as you watch Andrea how the movements are rippling up her body, so the whole of the spine is getting involved. So there's a sort of push and pull on the head and the neck as you do this movement. And this is where I say, even though that person was mentioning they couldn't really do the neck movements, even doing this movement where you move in the center of your body, you will start to find release in the neck. So I don't know if you can see that as you breathe in and you arch in the lower back, you get a push up the back of the neck, and you can encourage the chin to come down towards the chest. And then as you sigh out and sink, you flatten in the middle. The physics of it is you get the pull in the back of the neck and the chin goes up. Chin rises and the tailbone rises. And then as you're doing this movement, so Andrea, if you can just lift your head and bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. So rather than turning the head, can you lift the head up and then don't turn it, just bend it, that's it. And then put it down again. So now we're going to carry on doing that same movement. So you're still arching and flattening in the centre of your body. So this just now, that pull that was in the back of the neck now comes into the side of the neck as well. So it's just a way of focusing another bit of release from the centre into the side of the neck as well. Well, Katie, thanks for your comment. I'm glad to hear you enjoying the session. Lizzie's saying it's gone quieter. Is anyone else noticing that? So having done it a few times with your neck bent to the left, let's straighten the neck for a moment. Maybe just doing another arch and flatten with your neck straight, and then bending the ear towards the right shoulder now. So rather than turning the head, tilting. And continuing the arching and releasing in the centre of the body. And it's now coming up onto that side of the neck a little bit more again. Yeah, so Andy's asking about having cushions under your head. Yeah, it's much better if you need cushions to have them there. That will help the back of the neck to relax more. And then what you might find, I have quite a few AS clients in my classes who have the same issue, and they find as they go through class and things release in the centre, what we tend to recommend is like quite thin mats that they can then slightly take one out as the back of the neck relaxes back. Okay, let's straighten the neck again. And then we're just going to add in the shoulders into this movement as well. So you're going to continue to arch and flatten in the centre. But then the next time you breathe in an arch, you're going to roll the arms away from you so the palms face the ceiling. And then as you sigh out, you're going to roll the arms towards you and the shoulders are going to come forward. So everything becomes tight in the front of the body. And then breathe in to roll them away again. And the next time you sigh out, lift the shoulders, roll the arms towards the body and squeeze the knees together so the whole of the front of the body is tight. Breathe in to drop the knees apart and roll the shoulders back. So this is all about tightening the muscles in the front of the body and then slowly and softly releasing them. And then as you arch the back away, you're tightening the back muscles and then softly and slowly releasing them. And then you can just let that go, let the arms and legs go long for a moment. And just tune in and notice how the contact is in the back of the head. Maybe the chin's come down a little bit, maybe there's a little bit of relaxation and length in the back of the neck. And perhaps how the shoulders and the shoulder blades are lying has changed a bit as well. So in a moment I'm going to ask Andrea to roll over onto her front. If that is a position that's really impossible for you, as I know it is for quite a few people, the movements that she's about to do you can also do in standing against the wall. So if that's a lot more comfortable for you, then do please go into that position. But if you are able to lie in your front, then lie in the front with the two hands underneath your forehead. And then the first thing we're going to do actually is we're going to put the hands either side of your head, and we're just going to lift up on those hands so that the head comes off the mat, and then you're going to turn your head all the way to one side and then slowly sink down. So this is another neck release, down towards the mat. And just adjust the hands. So keep the neck straight. You're just putting your left ear down on the mat. Can you straighten your spine? Still further back.
Where's that there?
Yeah, there we are. And then you're going to lift up again, turn all the way the other way. So a lot of people find it quite hard to have their head turned to one side. So this is just a way to encourage your neck to feel easier. And can you sink that left shoulder down now? Yeah, there we go. So sinking that shoulder down really helps you to let go in the side of the neck. So that's, just do it once more each direction, Andrea. Yeah. So I should say Andrea is part of the same NASS group as I am, and she's been coming to my classes for a few years, so hopefully you can see how well she is moving now. Yeah, and either if you can't lie on your stomach, do this against a wall in standing. And then when you've done it a couple more times, just actually come up onto your elbows and rest the top half of your body up. And then we're just going to do what we call baby looks. So you're just going to look over one shoulder and then turn the neck and look over the other. So all about just getting used to using the neck in this way. And it can be a struggle for those of us with AS, but we tend not to in our life do a lot of this looking. We tend to be very binocular, everything's in front of us, all the screens and books and things that we're looking at. So it can just be good just to get used to moving the neck side to side. And then you can rest your head back down on the hands again. And we're just going to do a little bit of what I call swimming shoulders. So wherever you can put the hands so you can lift the shoulders in this position. So can you do that in that position? Could you do like a rolling around? No. So have the hands more to the side of the head again then. And we're going to just lift the shoulders up, roll them forwards and down. So we're just really mobilizing the shoulders as we're doing this. And you can do it in the other direction as well. And again, it's that thing about getting used to feeling your scapulars, your shoulder blades, how they move up and down the back of your body and they swing around to support the movement. And this is an example of what we call differentiation. So where you just actually focus on one small movement in the body and just repatterning it, bringing it into the conscious brain. Just that in itself helps to improve your movement. So yeah, you can try lying on your bed, Jane, see how that works. Otherwise, as I say, you can do it leaning against a wall. Okay, and then let that go, let the hands come underneath your forehead again. Okay, so I'm aware of time marching on. There's so much I can show you on neck and shoulders, but there's one particular movement I would really like to show you. So I'm going to suggest that we go straight on to lie on your side. So if you come onto your side facing the camera, I'm going to do boomerang. This is one of Andrea's favourites. So you can have the, as you can see, the setup here. So the knees are bent sort of up to 45 degrees. You probably don't need to have them quite up as much as that, Andrea. Yeah. And then you have both of the arms in that upper diagonal in front of the face. And then you can see what Andrea is doing. So she's bending the lower arm to support that top arm. And the first thing you're going to do is you're just going to start to bring that top arm towards you. And the shoulder blade goes down the back of the body, keeping the arm straight. And then as you reach away with the arm, you can encourage the lengthening. Feel the shoulder blade so it rises and swings round to push the arm away. You can encourage that lengthening with the underneath arm. And then this time as it comes back, you can resist with the underneath arm, which engages that shoulder blade a little bit more. So you continue to do that with the arm, and then you can start to bring in the breath and the back as well. So as you bring the arm towards you, you breathe in and you arch your lower back. And then as you sigh out, you lengthen that arm forward and around the back. Breathe in to bring the arm back and arch the back. And then breathe out to reach forward. And this time you can kick the legs forward. So the whole of you turns into this boomerang shape that the movement is named after. And then continue, you can bring the feet back under you as you bring the arm back and arch and breathe in. So this movement is all about the shoulder blade. If you find that your shoulder blade is really stuck and stiff, this is a great one to do. You really find that it helps you to release and mobilize that shoulder so that the shoulder moves. The shoulder is the most complicated joint in the whole of the human body, just because it has this combination of the actual joint and this floating shoulder blade, which is all about helping you to lift the arm. So let's let that one go. Just lie on your back for a second. You might just notice how do the shoulder blades feel now. So again, you might need to jiggle yourself around a little bit just to feel it. Maybe you can feel like the side that you've just been working, there's a lot more blood pumped into the muscle underneath the shoulder blade, and it feels a little bit more mobile and a bit easier to move. What are you feeling, Andrea?
Yeah, my shoulder feels so much looser on the right side, and my shoulder's actually gone down. I can feel how far down it is on the mat, and his hands turn out more, whereas this is closer to the body, so it's opened everything up.
So yes, she's saying that it's really loosened the shoulder, and it's really opened, and she's noticed it's turned her hand out. So that's an example of the awareness that you get with practicing somatic movement. You start to really tune in and feel what's happening in your body. So let's have a go on the other side. I'm aware of time. We've got time for just one more movement after this. So just do the same on the other side. So come onto your side, knees at about 45 degrees, and you're going to start by pulling the arm towards you, resisting with the underneath arm, feeling that shoulder blade gliding down the back of the body towards the spine. And then as you reach away, encouraging it and feeling the shoulder blade swoop outwards and upwards, supporting the lift. And tuning in with the breath, so you breathe out as you reach away, breathe in as you bring the arm back and arch the lower back. Round the back as you reach away. And then you can start to kick the legs forward. So Dave was asking about why we can't lay on our stomachs without pain. Well, you know, that is the issue with AS, is you do have spinal arthritis, which has restricted the mobility of the spine. So, in fact, it's not only people with AS. Quite a lot of people, just because of the way we live our lives, the modern industrial society, about 80% of people have lower back pain. It's sort of endemic in our society, so that's one of the reasons. But particularly a challenge for those of us with AS. So hopefully you're feeling like this side is now improving. So let's just roll onto your back once more. So I teach classes with people with AS, and normally the class is about an hour and a quarter, so this is a little bit shorter than we're used to, so it's felt like a bit of a romp to me, but hopefully you've been finding it useful. But we always finish with an integration movement where all the different parts of the body move as one, so that you can feel all the different parts of your body moving, hopefully in a very pleasant way. So let's finish by bending up the knees, and we're going to come into wash rag. So the arms are straight out at 90 degrees if you have room.
I'm just going to shuffle across a little bit.
And the way this one works is you roll one arm down along the floor and one arm up along the floor. So one shoulder is lifting and one shoulder is being pressed back. So you're basically wringing out the shoulder muscles from opposite ends. So this is why it's called a wash rag or dishcloth.
Can you see my shoulders under the jacket?
Yeah, a little bit further down. Yeah, that's good. And then you start to allow your head to look at the open palm, the one that's looking towards the ceiling. And then you allow your knees to go the other way to your head. Yeah, Randy's saying it's strange he doesn't have lower back pain. I'm a little bit like that, but myself, I'm actually fused in the lower back, and that's why there's no pain. So sometimes you're getting this pain in the neck and shoulders because the lower back isn't moving, and therefore you're getting this referred pain higher up. So the neck and shoulders are having to work harder to do the things that normally your lower back would be able to do. So hopefully this movement is most people's favourite somatic movement. It's kind of lazy and delicious, and again I say, if you can manage to find pleasure in moving your body, I think that's a wonderful thing for any of us with AS to achieve. And then you can just let it all go, let the arms and legs go long. And this is where we always do a little check-in at the end of moving and just noticing, how does it feel compared to when you first lay down? Now, like I say, normally in a somatics class it would be an hour and a quarter later. We're just getting any sense of any light bulb moments, any awarenesses that, softness in the neck, length in the neck, shoulders in a slightly different position, lying more easily, or perhaps if you jiggle around, they just feel like there's more movement and mobility in the shoulder blades. Anything you want to share at this stage, Andrea, that you can pick up on?
It just feels lovely lying.
So she feels lovely lying there.
Yeah, my shoulders have gone back. My head feels like it's in a different position, having done all the neck and shoulder releases. So it feels a lot more comfortable in my neck and my head.
Yeah, so she's finding it a lot more comfortable to lie in that position, a lot more relaxed and comfortable in the head and neck.
Which is why sometimes it's nice to go to a somatic before you go to bed, because as an AS sufferer, you can be worried about it's going to disturb my sleep, and sometimes the release before bedtime can help as well.
Yeah, so that's interesting in response to that question earlier about what's the best time to do it, because I tend to like to do it first thing in the morning, but Andrea was just saying she likes to sometimes do it before bed, because then she finds that she sleeps a lot better. Yeah, okay. Thanks very much. You can come up now. Okay, So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed those movements and you got something out of the session and found something amongst that to help you. And yeah, if you're interested in doing more, as I say, I run classes regularly for people with AS, so do get in touch.
That's wonderful. Thank you both so much, Ian, for talking through the movements, and Andrea for demonstrating them. We've got loads of people watching and lots of people commenting as well, which I know you saw during the session as well. And I'm looking forward to giving the movements a go later this evening when I'm not having to keep an eye on the comments and reply to people.
Right, yeah. Was there anything I missed? I didn't necessarily see them all, I don't think. But,
I don't think so. I think you answered all of them. I have had slight tech issues myself, so I've had to just use my phone. So it's really handy you're answering them too. I'll have a quick check to see if we have any more questions. Got lots of thank yous coming in. I know Pam in particular had said that she's had a bad migraine for a couple of weeks. So she was saying that the session was really helping with the neck tension she's had since then.
Oh, she's just asking where do we find more. So yeah, you can it's either ianyoungsomatics.com or Ian Young Somatic Movement Coach on Facebook. Get in touch.
I'll pop
and
the
tell you more. Yeah.
Oh, perfect, thank you. And I'll pop the links to those in the video description as well after the session.
Great.
So yeah, people will be able to click through shortly and find all your pages and everything. Wonderful. So yeah, was there anything else you wanted to add at all?
Yeah, so I think last time I did it, people were sort of saying, oh, right, so you can help in that area, but what about this other area? So just to sort of say that, yeah, today was a little bit unusual. Like last time was probably more typical where we worked on the whole body. Today we were really focusing on trying to get some improvement in the neck and shoulders. But when I tend to teach somatics classes, we would have a different focus each week. So we might focus on neck and shoulders one week, hips the next week, hip and shoulders the following week, feet the next week. So we hope to there's something that can help pretty much all parts of the body. And as I say, we do work with whole body reflexes, so we're trying to get the whole body to move and function better. And certainly we've both seen each other's bodies change over the years that we've been doing it, and yeah, it just feels so much better. And I started a class for people with AS at the start of lockdown #1, and I've had them coming to me ever since. And yeah, it's great to see their bodies starting to change as well. So yeah, do can find out more.
That's fantastic. I think it's great as well coming from you know, having AS as well. You've got that, you know, that real knowledge and depth of knowledge about the condition as well, which I think is really helpful.
Yeah, and that's what I say. I think that's why it's to me, that's why I wanted to train and do it, because I feel like I can teach from the inside out, because I've worked through those layers of tension and holding myself, and I definitely didn't used to be able to move like this. I really didn't, and neither did Andrea. So you know, it really does. I know it works, and I've seen it work so many times. So yeah, there's hope. That's what I think is really important.
And it's so nice to know that there's things that you can do. So when you do wake up and you're feeling stiff, or you're noticing that a bit of your body isn't quite right, you know that there's something that you can do that's fairly simple. And that gives you the confidence to go about your everyday without feeling as though it's going to prevent you from doing things. You can work through it, because it does make a difference.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, brilliant.
Lovely. Well, thank you again, both of you. That's fantastic. And as I said at the beginning, we'll pop the video on our webpage, My AS, My Life, so everyone can come back and watch again, and it'll stay on the Facebook page as well. And just for anyone who's watching, just for next week's session, or our next session will be in a couple of weeks on Thursday the 3rd of June. And we'll be having a session with Ali Potter, who is a health and mindset coach and an osteopath, and she'll be doing a relaxation and meditation session. So apologies, that's next week, next Thursday. Can't believe we're towards the end of May already. So thank you both again. I'll finish the live stream there, and thank you to everyone watching, commenting and joining in as well, and hopefully see you next week.